Hey everyone, look, you've put in the long hours, you've studied all the material, and you are ready for the MHT CET. But there's one final piece of the puzzle we need to master before exam day, and that's the exam interface itself.
And it's a totally normal feeling. You could know all the physics and chemistry in the world, but if you're kind of fumbling with the on-screen buttons, you're just losing precious time and focus. That's a hurdle we are going to completely remove for you, right here, right now.
So in this explainer, we're going to walk through the entire MHT CET computer interface, step by step. I promise, by the end of this, that screen is going to feel as familiar as your own notebook, which means you can dedicate all of your brain power to the questions. Okay, let's dive in. We'll start with getting you logged in. Then we'll move to the main dashboard. We're going to decode those all-important color codes, see exactly how to answer questions, clarify that really strict two-part exam rule, and then finish up with some key takeaways. Ready? Let's get started. So, imagine this. You've found your assigned seat, you've sat down in front of the computer. First thing you do? Just take a deep breath. Now, here's exactly what you'll do next.
The login screen is super simple. Your username is just your hall ticket number, and the password is your date of birth. Both of those are right there on your hall ticket, so you don't have to memorize anything new. Just type them in carefully.
Now, before the clock starts ticking, the system gives you a moment to get settled. First, just confirm your name and your photo look correct on the screen. Next, and this is absolutely crucial, test your mouse. Make sure the left click, the right click, and the scroll wheel are all working perfectly. If there is any issue at all, just raise your hand and tell the invigilator right away. Once you're all set, you'll tick the instructions box and click I am ready to begin.
And you're in. So this screen is basically your command center for the next 90 minutes. I know it might look a little busy at first, but trust me, each part has a very specific and helpful job. Let's break it down.
The screen is actually pretty easy to navigate. The biggest part, obviously, is the question area. That's where the action is. Over on the right, you've got the question palette, which is basically your map to the entire section. Then, up in the top right corner is your countdown timer, always ticking down from 90 minutes. Below the palette, you'll see a quick summary of your progress, and right across the bottom are your action buttons. All right, now for what I think is the most important part of your dashboard strategy, the color codes in that question palette. Seriously, understanding these 5 colors is the key to managing your time effectively and making sure you don't miss a single question.
So here's the legend. Gray just means you haven't even looked at the question yet. Red means you've seen it but skipped it for now. Green is your goal. That means you've answered it and it's saved. Plain purple means you've marked it to come back to, but you haven't answered. And finally, purple with a little green tick means you've answered and you've flagged it for a second look. Let's talk about how to use these strategically. When a question number in your palette turns green, you can basically forget about it. It means your selected option is locked in and it's going to be considered for your final score. This is what you want to see for as many questions as possible. A red number is really just a signal to your future self. It's you saying, hey, I saw this question, but I skipped it. This is super useful for quickly finding all the questions you still need to work on without having to scroll through everything all over again. Now this is a game-changing strategy. Let's say you solve the problem, but you're only maybe 80% sure. You can select your answer and mark it for review. The question turns purple with a tick. Now this is so important. Even if you run out of time, this answer is saved and will be evaluated. It is the perfect safety net. All right, so now that we know what all the colors mean, let's look at how to actually make them happen. This is all about those buttons at the bottom of the screen. It's actually pretty straightforward. To just answer a question, you pick an option, you hit Save and Next. Boom, it turns green. For that safety net strategy we just talked about, you'll pick an answer and hit Mark for Review and Next. That turns it purple with a tick. If a question totally stumps you, just hit Mark for Review and Next without an answer, and it'll turn plain purple. And don't worry, you can always go back, change your mind, or even clear your response entirely. Okay, this next part is extremely important, and it is absolutely non-negotiable. Unlike some other exams, the MHT-CT has a very, very strict 2-part structure that you cannot change. Let's go over how it works. The exam is split into 2 separate 90-minute blocks. Everybody has to start with paper 1, physics and chemistry. You get 90 minutes. When that time is up, this section is going to automatically submit. Let me repeat that. It will auto-submit. You cannot go back. Only then will paper 2, for either maths or biology, become available for the next 90 minutes. There is no switching back and forth between the 2 papers. Period. And just a quick reminder on that timer in the top right corner.
It starts at 90 minutes and counts down to 0 for each section. Don't get confused and think it's counting up. Watching this timer is really key to pacing yourself correctly through each paper. Wow, okay, we've covered a lot from logging in all the way to the final submission. So let's just distill all of this down into a simple, powerful game plan you can take with you right into the exam hall. Here it is, your exam day game plan in 5 easy points. 1. Get comfortable with the interface before you even start answering. 2. Use that question palette to jump between questions strategically. 3. Remember, there's no negative marking, so you should attempt every single question. Use that answered and marked for review option. 4. That 90-minute auto-submit for paper 1 is a hard stop, so plan for it. And 5. Always keep one eye on that countdown timer. Ultimately, this is what it's all about. Mastering this interface isn't about being some kind of tech whiz. It's about removing a barrier between your knowledge and your score. A smooth, confident process lets all your preparation truly shine. So, I'll just leave you with this thought. You now have an advantage. You understand the tool. The clicks, the colors, the timer, they are no longer distractions. They're your strategic aids. So now the only thing left to focus on is the subject that you know so well. Go in there and show them what you've got. You're going to do great. Good luck.